Hello everyone, welcome to Neso Academy. In the previous lecture, we understood macros in C++. We know already that macros are the second type of named constants in C++. Now we will discuss the third type of named constant, which is also called enumerated constant. We will discuss enumerated constants in great details in this lecture. So let's get started with this lecture and let's see what are the topics of this lecture. The first topic is enumeration. First, we will understand the meaning of enumeration. We will also get to know about enumerated constants by discussing enumeration, and we will get to know the relationship between the two. Then we will move to the next topic where we will understand why we need enumeration. So these are the two topics which we will deal with in this lecture. Let's start with the first topic, that is enumeration. We already know that constants are of two types, named constants and literal constants. Named constants are of three types, constant variables, macros, and enumerated constants. We have already discussed constant variables and macros. In the last lecture, we studied macros. Now we are in this lecture, and the focus of this lecture is on the third type of named constants, that is, enumerated constants. Now let's understand what are enumerated constants by first understanding the meaning of enumeration. First, we will understand the English meaning of enumeration. This will help us understand the technicalities of enumeration in C++. So let's proceed further and let's understand the English meaning of enumeration. In English, the act of listing things one after the other is enumeration. So enumeration refers to the act of listing things down one after the other. This is the meaning of enumeration in English. Now here is the example sentence which will help you understand the meaning of enumeration more properly. The teacher has enumerated the classroom rules that everyone has to follow, including being on time, bringing your books, and no mobile phones. This is the English sentence, and here, with the help of this sentence, you will understand the meaning of enumeration more properly. The teacher has enumerated the classroom rules. This means teacher has listed down the classroom rules. These classroom rules have to be followed by everyone in the classroom. These rules are being on time, bringing your books, and no mobile phones. These rules have been listed down or enumerated by the teacher. So I hope now the meaning of enumeration is clear to you with the help of this sentence. Let's now understand the more technical meaning of enumeration in C++. Enumeration in C++ provides the way to create a list of related named integer constants. Enumeration in C++ is much related to the enumeration in English. It is also the way of creating a list, that is, listing down things. But the things are quite restrictive. We are allowed to have a specific type of things. We can only have named integer constants in the list. This is what enumeration in C++ is. So enumeration in C++ is the way of creating a list of related named integer constants. We must have named integer constants and they must be related to each other in the list. I hope the meaning of enumeration in C++ is completely clear to you. If it is not, then now with the help of an example, we will understand the meaning of enumeration and we will also understand how to define enumeration in C++. Here is the example. Here I have defined this enumeration with the help of this enum keyword. First, we need to specify the keyword enum. This keyword tells that we are defining the enumeration. And here, after the enum keyword, we need to specify the name of the list. The name of this list is day. And after this, within braces, we can specify the items of the list. As mentioned already, the items must be named integer constants. These are named integer constants, and you will get to know why I am calling them named integer constants. First, we need to understand that we can create a list like this. These are the items of the list: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. These are all the days of the week, and this name justifies this. After this closing brace, we need to place this semicolon. This is also important. This is how we can define enumeration in C++. These named integer constants are also called enumerated constants. Now, why I'm calling them enumerated constants? Because these constants are defined for the enumeration. That's why we can call them enumerated constants. I hope this idea is clear to you. Now I hope it is clear how enumeration is related to enumerated constants. When we define enumeration, we also list down named integer constants. These named integer constants are called enumerated constants. Now, if we want, we can assign values to them, but by default, these integer constants will receive integers starting from 0. That's why we call them named integer constants. I hope it is clear to you now. These integer constants will receive values starting from 0. So we can think of this list like this. This is how we can imagine this list. Sunday will receive value 0, Monday will receive 1, Tuesday will receive 2, Wednesday will receive 3, Thursday will receive 4, Friday will receive 5, and Saturday will receive 6. These values are provided by default. This is what I have written here. Default values starting from 0. If we want, we can provide our own values. Like if we want to provide 1 to Sunday, 2 to Monday, 3 to Tuesday, and 4 to Wednesday, then we can do that. In the same way, we can provide values to the rest of the integer constants as well. So, we can do this with the help of the assignment operator, just like this. Here, in this list, I have assigned these values to these integer constants. 1 has been assigned to Sunday, 2 to Monday, 3 to Tuesday, 4 to Wednesday, and so on. In this way, we can assign values to these integer constants, which we also call enumerated constants. So it is possible to assign our own values to these integer constants. I hope it is clear to you how to define enumeration in C++, and how it looks like is also clear to you. Now let's take one more example to concrete this concept. Here is example number 2. I have defined this enumeration. First, I have specified the enum keyword, then the name of the list. The name of this list is traffic light. And the list has these items: red, yellow, and green. These are all named integer constants which are related to each other. They represent traffic light. I hope it is clear to you why we define enumeration. With the help of enumeration, we can group items together which are related to each other. This name makes it clear that these items represent the traffic light. I hope it is clear to you. By default, red will receive value 0, yellow will receive 1, and green will receive 2. So in this way, we can define enumeration in C++ to group related named integer constants. We have learned enumeration in C++. This means we are done with the first topic. Now let's move to the second topic, where we will understand why enumeration is needed. So why we need enumeration in C++? That's the question. In order to understand why we need enumeration, we can take one problem statement and we can write some programs for that problem statement. With the help of these programs, we will understand what is the meaning of enumeration and why we need enumeration. So let's proceed further and let's take one problem statement. This is the problem statement. Write a program that reminds to do the main activity of the day. We now need to write a program that reminds us to do the main activity of the day. So we need to write the program to remind us the main activity. Now, how do we write the program for the same? The straightforward way looks like this. This is way number 1. There are multiple ways to write the program for this problem statement. Here I have proposed the way number 1. I have included the IOStream header file because in the main function I am using cout. Here I have defined this main function and this main function has this statement return 0. The first statement is the definition of the variable today. To this variable I have assigned this integer value 1. I can do this because this variable is of type int, that is, it can hold an integer. And I have initialized this variable through list initialization. We have learned this already. Today is 1. What does this mean? 1 represents Monday. This is my assumption. I am assuming 0 represents Sunday, 1 represents Monday, 2 represents Tuesday, 3 represents Wednesday, and so on. So this is my assumption that 1 represents Monday, and therefore today is Monday. Now here I have written this code to check some conditions, and based on those conditions, I want to execute some pieces of code. Here I have written this if construct. Now let's try to understand the meaning of if construct. If you already know C programming language, then you must know the concept of if, else, if. But if you don't know C programming language, then also there is no problem. Let me explain what is the meaning of if construct. With the help of if construct, we can check a specific condition. If the condition turns out to be true, then the code within curly braces will be executed. Otherwise, we will move forward and run the remaining code. This is the meaning of if construct. If this condition is true, then the code following it will execute. Otherwise, we will move forward and execute this else if block. I hope it is making sense to you. Now, what is the condition? Here we are checking this condition. Is today equal to 0? This is the equality operator. This is not the assignment operator. In the assignment operator, we use 1 equals sign. In equality operator, we use 2 equals sign. This equality operator is used to compare the left-hand side value with the right-hand side value. It is used to check whether the left-hand side value is equal to the right-hand side value or not. If these two are equal, then it will give us true. Otherwise, we will get false. And if we get true from here, then this line of code will execute. Here I am checking, is today equal to 0? If today is 0, then this line of code will execute. This means I am checking, if today is Sunday, then this line of code will execute and we will get holiday, enjoy yourself on the screen. If today is Sunday, then we must get holiday, enjoy yourself. Today is holiday, so there is nothing to do today. So just enjoy yourself. This is what I want to display. Now we know that today is Monday. Today is not equal to 0, it is equal to 1. Therefore, this condition is false. And hence, we will get outside this if construct, and now we will focus on this else if block. I hope this idea is clear to you. Else if block will only execute if this condition turns out to be false. Now we know this is false, therefore we are now in this else if block. Let's now try to understand what is the meaning of else if block. Just read this from the beginning. If today is equal to 0, then execute this line of code. Otherwise or else, if today is equal to 1, then execute this line of code. It is that simple to understand. We know today is not equal to 0, therefore this code will execute. We will now check this condition. Is today equal to 1? Here we are checking, is today a Monday? If today is Monday, then this line of code will execute, and on the screen we will get team meeting at 10 a.m. This is the main activity of the day. This is the activity that I have provided from my side. You can provide your own activity if you want. Clearly, if today is Monday, then this message will be displayed on the screen. This reminds us for the main activity of the day. We know that today is Monday, therefore this condition is true, and hence, with the help of cout, we will get team meeting at 10 a.m. on the screen. So in this way, this program will remind us to do the main activity of the day. Although I have written these two conditions to check for Sunday and Monday, but we can write more conditions for the rest of the days as well. I have written this short version of the big program. You can proceed further and write the remaining else if blocks on your own and specify the activities accordingly. Now, I hope this program is completely clear to you. And with this program, we understood how to check a specific condition and execute a piece of code. This is one way of writing program for this problem statement, but this is not the recommended way, and I would like to state the reason behind this. Here I have mentioned 1 in place of the actual day. I am assuming that someone who will read my code will understand the meaning of 1. But understanding the meaning of 1 and 0 is not simple. If a beginner or someone who has not written this code will see this code, then he or she will not be able to understand what do I mean by this 1 or what do I mean by this 0. Here it is my assumption that 1 represents Monday. But this is an implicit assumption. Who knows what I mean by 1? I need to specify this in some way or the other. Here in this code, the readability is quite poor. And due to this reason, I would not recommend you to write this type of code. Instead, we can proceed with way number 2, which is considered as the better way than this way. Let's move to way number 2, where we will now define constant variables in place of these values. Let's see way number 2 now. Here I have defined these constant variables Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And to these constant variables, I have provided these values starting from 0 up to 6. Now you can observe that to this variable, I have assigned this constant variable, which is Monday. Now this is making more sense. If someone will read my code, then he or she will be able to understand that today is Monday. Now, with the help of this constant variable, we are making it clear what is the meaning of variable today. Also here, I am checking this condition. If today is Sunday, then this code will be executed. Otherwise or else, if today is Monday, then this code will be executed. So in this way, I'm checking these conditions, and now this is much readable and understandable compared to way number 1. So compared to way number 1, I would recommend way number 2. But still, this is not the most recommended approach for these type of problems. Let me state the reasons behind this. Although I have defined these constant variables and I have improved the readability of the code, but this is still not the recommended approach. Let's understand why it is the case. It seems they are unrelated to each other because I have defined them separately. I have not grouped them and give them a single name. So this is the reason why they seem separate to each other, but they are related. Also, I have assigned values manually to these constant variables. If let's say we have more constant variables, then we have to do more manual work of assigning values. Apart from this, you can also observe that I have specified this data type int here. If we read this, then it seems like this is the integer variable which is holding some day. But this does not make much sense. Hence, for this line, the readability is quite reduced and it is quite less understandable as well. We can eliminate these drawbacks of constant variables with the help of enumeration. That's way number 3. In place of these constant variables, we can define one enumeration like this. Here I have defined this enumeration. The name of this enumeration is day, and I have grouped all these constant variables into one. Precisely, we call them enumerated constants. So I have grouped them into a logical unit which I am calling day. And it is making sense because these are the days of the week. Also, these enumerated constants will receive default values as well. This is not the case with constant variables. If we do not assign values to the constant variables, then they will receive garbage values, which we don't want. But enumerated constants will receive integer values starting from 0. Sunday will receive 0, Monday will receive 1, Tuesday will receive 2, Wednesday will receive 3. And in this way, all these constants will receive integer values. So clearly, enumeration reduces the burden of assigning values to these constants. Also, you can observe that in place of int, now we have day. It is like we have provided our own data type here. And it is making much sense because Monday is one of the days in the week. It is not representing an integer. It is simply a day of the week. So this line is much more readable and understandable now. So with this, I hope it is clear why enumeration is needed in C++. When we need constants which are related to each other, then it is better to define one enumeration for those constants instead of defining constant variables for each. So, enumeration provides us the way to group constants, and it is much more readable compared to the ways that we have already discussed. So with this, we have understood why we need enumeration in C++, and this means we are done with the second topic also. And this also means that we are done with this lecture. Okay, friends, this is it for now. Thank you for watching this presentation. I will see you in the next one.